Nvidia buys $1 billion worth of Nokia stock for investment in AI networking and cloud footprint. So this is, we'll be going over just the Seeking Alpha article. This is big news. This is the big investment. I'm back in. I'm in Nokia. I've been in for about a month, and this news just dropped. Major news. Nokia shares jump on $1 billion NVIDIA investment to grow AI networking and cloud footprint. So we'll get into the article and we'll break down what this means for Nokia going forward. And I have a bunch of other slides that we're going to go through that I made before this news. And so I'm going to have to make another video down the line, really solidifying all this together and what that means for the future of Nokia. But just get into the Seeking Alpha article. This is what it says. Top chip maker in Nvidia is investing $1 billion in Nokia, the former Finnish cell phone giant, which has transformed into an important telecom infrastructure company to integrate each other's technologies, which will help them become front runners in AI-powered networking. Shares of Nokia were halted before the news came public. NOK resumed trading and is up nearly 20% before midday on Tuesday. The investment will be used to accelerate development of Nokia's 5G and 6G RAN radio networking software to run on NVIDIA's architecture and to ramp up Nokia's presence in the AI cloud market. According to the official statement, the companies have also agreed to collaborate on AI networking solutions and explore opportunities to incorporate Nokia's data center switching and optical technologies in NVIDIA's future AI infrastructure architecture. Nokia's board will issue 166 million new shares at $6.01 per share to NVIDIA for the $1 billion investment, making the chip maker a 2.9% stakeholder in the company. That's big news. That's big news. So that's big. When you have the biggest company in the world, obviously they're worth multi-trillions of dollars. So $1 billion investment to them is not, monetarily significant relative to what they're worth, but $1 billion is $1 billion, and $1 billion is still worth $1 billion to Nokia at this point. And so I just want to preface before I get into all the DD I have is, I was buying Nokia at the beginning of October, right? And so before we saw the jump up to, $7, you'll see right here, I was buying Nokia in September 24th, 5 shares at 472, 5 shares, 469. So I was literally trying to accumulate. Like I got in Nokia thinking, okay, if I can just get under 5, just get under 5, and just build up over time. Then boom, news starts to, the knock starts to run. So I'm like, oh snap, I need to at least start DCAing because it's undervalued, in my opinion, when we get into the different PE ratios. It starts making a run. So I'm buying, I bought a share at $6, 622. Another at 622, 641. It's going. Then 647 before the news on the 28th, and then the news drops. I buy 20 shares at 762 just in case, just in case it still wanted to run up. I'm still in a position where if it goes down, if it goes below 7, below 650, I'm going to really heavily accumulate. I have 50 shares right now. My share price per average is $6.23. I'm up 15% right now. If I didn't buy those shares at 762, I would have a higher percentage, but I would have a lower share count. And I'm trying to use this as a dividend company, even though it's still it's becoming now a growth dividend, which is still awesome for my portfolio. And so for gematria, really simple stuff. And 133 in reduction is the investment gematria number I love seeing. Nvidia and NOK leading in quantum phase, 133 English reduction. Nvidia and NOK team up as a quantum powerhouse, 133 reduction. So both those right there are signifying the power and the energy of this partnership, right? So Nokia, which already has a huge history, innovation, going back 100 years with Bell Labs, is now partnering up with the most innovative company in the world right now, Nvidia, and now they get access to their chips, which Nvidia has some of the best chips in the world, if not the best chips in the world, fastest speed. So this is big information. I have to take some time to really digest this all and really figure out what this means moving forward. Right now, I'm just taking the DCA approach with Nokia as I really figure everything else moving forward. Let me see. Is AI overhyped and is it AI in a bubble? Should government bail out Intel? Will technology companies be locked out of the Chinese markets? To answer your question before I go forward, I don't think AI is overhyped or in a bubble. And why I'm saying that is you have to look at the history. Look at what the dot-com bubble was. When the dot-com bubble happened, it was with companies that just had websites. Just because they had a website, their stock was running, right? And with no real business, no real value behind it. With the AI boom that we're having and what they're calling an AI super cycle, AI is helping these businesses become more efficient, become more profitable, become smarter companies, become faster companies. And so, yes, we're in a super cycle. And yes, there probably will be a bubble at some point, and there will be companies that say AI this, AI that don't have any value. But for the companies that are already using it and utilizing it correctly, it's already making a difference. And even in my own book business, it's made a difference. So I don't think it's in a bubble. I think it's, there's real legs under it. Now, could there be a point where it hits a cliff? Yeah, but I don't think we're there yet, and not at these levels for Nokia. Maybe on the level for Nvidia where they might have to come back to earth a little bit, but not for Nokia. And will technology companies be locked out of the Chinese market? I think we're working with China right now. The US, we're trying to get something done. That's what Trump said. Personally, the Chinese market's good, but I don't invest in like Chinese companies and stuff like that, just for like transparency reasons. I try to stay away. But obviously, I'm trying to be where the money is being made. So I don't think they'll be locked out of the Chinese markets. When the world works together, the world's a better place. That's how I feel. So now let's get into the fundamentals of Nokia. So I had a lot of this already planned out before the Nvidia news, but it's still, a lot of it is still very relevant, right? So Nokia, it's in the telecommunications, information technology, and consumer electronics industries. His headquarters is in Espoo, Finland. And I just pulled this from my Charles Schwab. The annual dividend yield at this point was at 7.18, essentially is 2.14%. So it's right in line with kind of like an average dividend. And with them kind of now hitting their growth phase, if they keep rising in price, obviously the annual dividend is going to go down, but we're going to see capital appreciation. And the ex-dividend date was October 28th. So if you had shares before the 28th, you'll get a little bit of that payout on November 11th. And so since I did have shares before that date, I will be getting paid out. And when we go into the expected earnings, and so this is part of the reason why I invested in Nokia back in September when I was looking for a new company, is it's their earnings estimates, right? And so with tariffs, like tariffs was hurting Nokia for a little bit, and they've talked about that in their Q2 report and the Q1 report. But there was a discrepancy on their price to earnings, right? And so their price to earnings, their current PE, even before this point, was pretty high. And so their PE a month ago was like 27, and their forward PE was like 19. And so what I've learned over time is, that's a good discrepancy you want to see, because if your forward PE, and it's like your forward PE is your guiding PE, that means if your forward PE is lower than your current price to earnings ratio, that means you're going to be making more money in the future, which means it's going to lower your forward PE, right? Based off estimates. So right now, the current price to earnings is based off what they did in Q3, right? But the forward is going to have what they're doing in Q4, moving in 2026, and so on. So that's what you want to see. So when you see a 4 PE like this, it can potentially still grow. And at first, I'm like, okay, well, it's a telecom. They're still switching. You kind of want it in that 20-25 range, and such. But with Nvidia, what they're trying to do with cloud networking, how AI is elevating stock multiples, this is okay because it's now more of a technology company, right? It's not like it has infrastructure, but now it's more of a technology company, and technology companies have a premium, and they have a premium on the price to earnings level, but on the 4 PE level, I mean, they're either fairly valued or a little bit undervalued. So that's what I like to see. And you can see the year performance right here, right? It hasn't done anything, and then boom, it takes a quick dip and it goes and just rockets. And so, I got in like right about here. And so it's a bittersweet moment where it's like, okay, I notified myself like this is the stock I want to get in at a good price, following my own procedures. And then as I'm trying to accumulate, it has big news. Yeah. Tell me the difference between growth and dividend stocks. What's going on with LTNC? Gates Open Media, please check my other videos or hit my Discord, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But this is knock right now. Tell me the difference between growth and dividend stocks. A growth stock typically does not have a dividend. It wants to use all of its capital back into the business so it can grow its revenues, it can expand, it can buy capital and such. Dividend stocks are more mature companies that have kind of already hit their peak, and so now they're just really making money and profit. They're not really trying to expand operations anymore. And so instead of putting money back into the business in growth and trying to grow it, they give money back to the shareholders for being invested. So, and that's when you get a dividend. So that's the little bit of a difference right there. And so let's go through some of the gematria for Nokia. Finland, 33, English reduction. And so I like seeing that because I like Finnish companies. I like Scandinavian companies. They're a lot more transparent. Culturally, they're a little bit more conservative. And they're not really trying to lie to you as much as like, in America, or have an illusion like American CEOs or Chinese CEOs. They try to give off an illusion, and they're not as transparent. But with the Scandinavian companies, I've seen a big difference, and I like it. So Finland, 33, English reduction. We have NOK stock and business. They both equal 108 English ordinal, 27 English reduction, 108 reverse ordinal. We have 45 reverse reduction and 54 in reverse reduction for business. So you see the connection right there. NOK stock, business. Nokia stock, 37 English reduction. Good stock, 37 English reduction. Then we got Finnish financials and stock market. Nokia is much faster than Verizon. Nokia in a technology turnaround. Nokia turned into a tech company. Nokia is a growing telecom business. That all equals 137 in English reduction, and that's the 33rd prime, which goes back into the main number that we work with. And then we also have Nokia is in a technology turnaround, and Nokia is turning into a tech company, 151 in reverse reduction. So this is all good stuff right here. Then we have a highly energetic code right here. NOK stock, PE higher than forward PE, 333 English ordinal. Then we have that 153 reduction. So you want to see that. We've talked about that a lot, that 333 English ordinal, that 153 reduction. And we talked about how, look, the PE is higher than the forward PE. That means there's still growth on the bone here, right? That means they still have some room to go up if they keep executing it should stay the same. It should stay the same, right? And then we have the quantum network stocks. Well, it's a big 333 English ordinal. The quantum network stocks, 333 English ordinal. So again, a highly energetic code. Then we have Finland Telecom. Uh, don't worry about that because that's wrong right there. So don't worry about that. Finland Telecom. We see the quantum stocks are a big deal. So that's it right there. And so now let's talk a little bit about Nokia's forward guidance. Okay. So Nokia's forward guidance, and since I struggle a little bit with technology companies and valuing them because I come from the value investor school, Benjamin Graham, Warren Buffett, Monish Pabrai. I come from that. So I do still look at book value for technology companies, but I do understand book value isn't as important because it's not as tangible assets aren't as big as a deal for technology companies. So I'm still working on that as an investor, but I like to see companies close to the book value when I'm invested in it, you know, technology or not, right? And so right now, book value for NOK is $3.61, almost 62 cents. So, you know, with the price trending at like $7 right now, you know, it's not that far-fetched. It's not that crazy to see that, right? And I'm not too worried because I look at book value as kind of like the safety valve, where if everything goes wrong, how much would I get for the company? Bare bones, right? And so, yeah, I mean, it'd be like a 50% drop if the company went out of business, but it's not because their price to book ratio is really good. It's a 1.45, which is, you know, is right in line. You know, they're in good position cash wise and such. And so from Seeking Alpha's earnings, right? So the latest quarterly earnings, the EPS normalized actual was 7 cents. The EPS gap actual was 1, right? And so when you look at the reports on Nokia, there's a difference between comparable and reported. So comparable is what the company in management sees as how they should do accounting, right? And that's why it's a little bit higher. In the actual reported, it follows GAAP guidance, which is why it's a little bit lower. And so then we have analysts going for the next Q4 earnings. They're saying there's going to be a normalized estimate of 17 cents, which is a huge jump. You know, we had Q3 7 cents. Now they're saying we're going to get an extra 10 cents. Then EPS gap estimates, we're going to get 14 extra cents. So that's a huge jump, and that's why the PE for PE is looking like that. So if they hit those numbers, man, that's going to be crazy. And so this is a little old because this doesn't include the Nvidia news that just dropped a couple of days ago, but the 2025 EPS estimates, you know, the 4P is going to be 1951 and December 2026 1561. And so, I mean, still undervalued when you're looking at that. Infra, they had that Infra partnership that's doing really well for the company, networking and such. And then we have Gematria. Nokia turnaround completed in 2026, 133 in reduction. Then we have NOK stock turnaround completed in 2026, 137 reduction. And NOK undervalued below $7 in 2025. That's 137 in reduction. So I'm going to be buying shares if it gets below $7 again, for sure. I do think we're undervalued at that point with the new news. And then, so here's their interim report for Q3 2025. Strong net sales growth, well on track to achieve full year outlook. Q3 comparable net sales grew 9% year over year on a consistent currency and portfolio basis. So that's pretty big. And so overall, yeah, I mean, everything is looking pretty good for NOK. And let's go into their innovation a little bit, right? Let's what's your advice for small investors who are just starting? Well, my advice first is to start small and just learn, okay? Just start small and learn. Please, Michael, if you're interested in learn more about investing, please join my Discord. There's a link in the description that you can join. And then, we could talk stocks just in there. It's free. So, and there's a lot of other people in the community that love to talk stocks. So that's where you can learn. Did I ever read Dividend Investing by Jenny Harrington? I have not. And yes, I know Zachary Hubbard, Gates of Media. I do know who he is. Back to Nokia Bell Labs. So Nokia Bell Labs, 100 years of innovating. And so Nokia, throughout its history, has always innovated, and they've been good acquirers of businesses as well. So Nokia did not buy Bell Labs directly. Bell Labs used to be under AT&T, and you have to remember AT&T was one of the best stocks ever at one point in history. It truly was. It's not so much now, but at one point, AT&T was the creme de la creme. So Nokia did not buy Bell Labs directly. Rather, it acquired the company Alcatel-Lucent in 2016, which had previously acquired Bell Labs in 2006 through its merger with Lucent Technologies. Therefore, Nokia's ownership of Bell Labs is a result of these corporate mergers and acquisitions. 1996, most of Bell Labs became part of Lucent Technologies after AT&T spun off. So that was part of the spin-off for AT&T, who they've spun off a lot. And so let's just look at some of the gematria. Bell Labs NOK equals 33 in reduction. You love seeing that. Nokia Bell Labs NOK technology engine equals 333 in English ordinal. That's another powerful gematria decode. We have NOK is becoming a powerful new age telecom stock, which equals 333 English ordinal, 135 reduction, and 531 in reverse ordinal on the reverse right there. Bell Labs is an idea factory. Idea factory. Nokia Bell Labs 222 English ordinal. You like to see that. And then we have history of innovation Bell Labs and Nokia with Pluto and Aquarius 2025. So both those equals 333 English ordinal, 126 English reduction. Nokia with Pluto and Aquarius 2025, that's 333 reverse ordinal. And we have 153 reverse reduction for both. So, I mean, these are powerful decodes, right? And this is why I love that I'm in it now. And I'm going to keep DCAing. And we have Trump and Finnish President Alexander Stubb tease cooperation on quantum computing with Nokia. This was on October 9th. And so, Trump in America, they're really trying to partner with all these different networks and telecoms to really get the new age underway. And, just kind of to cap off Nokia Bell Labs and how they've innovated over the years. This is the list, this is the notable list, at least. 1947, they invented the transistor, foundation of all modern electronics. Information theory, 1948, created by Claude Shannon, basis for digital communication. Laser and maser, 1950s, technology used in medicine, telecom, and industry. The Telstar 1 satellite, 1962, first active communication satellite. Discovery of cosmic microwave background, 1964, proof of the Big Bang. Charge coupled device, CCD, 1969, made digital camera possible. Unix operating system, 1969, influenced Linux, Mac OS, and more. Cellular network concept, 40s and 50s, foundation of mobile phones. Fiber optic communications, 1970s, backbone of today's internet. The solar cell, 1954, practical photovoltaic cell. Digital signal processing, key for modern audio, video, and telecom. The MIMO wireless, technology behind 4G and 5G. Acoustic research and noise reduction, improved microphones, telephony, and hearing devices. The SIG-SALI, first secure voice encryption system, and communication switching systems enabled automatic telephone exchanges. So there's so much history here with Bell Labs. And, Nokia is fortunate to have just kind of that culture, have that energy behind it. And Nokia has innovated a lot themselves. Their phones back in the day were really good. People love their phones, right? And, just back with their transparency, their focus on the future, in technology. I think they're going to be doing really well and do really great things. So I'm excited for where this company is going. And, you know, if you're interested, please check out my Discord. It's free. We could talk about it. Go back, watch this video, and just do research and let me know what you think of this stock.